So one of the things that we want to talk about in the very beginning of any book project is the platform. So what is this thing called a platform? Well, think of it as a blueprint. Think of it as the blueprint, the foundation of how you would build a house up. Books are the same way, as well as you as the author. And by the way, they're two different things. Where you think of the author platform as the persona. Now, most author things, I'm just going to do one book. Trust me, books breed more books. And once you start on the path and you get that little taste of success, all of a sudden other ideas start coming in. When you start interacting with your readers, your fans, they will start fueling and seeding ideas that you're thinking, what if I can do that? So the platform is part for you as the author is the foundation of you, who you are, what you're about, your persona, your belief, your visions, your passions, it's all there. Your book platform is just a little bit different. The book is the book. What's it about? What's its cause? What's the problem it addresses? What's the causation of it? What's the effect of it? And you, as the author, have the solution to ease the pain, to give the answers, to supply, to have the questions that come to it. Or if you're in fiction, you're going to deal with your protagonist. They've got a problem. Who caused it? What was the effect of it? And how do they get out of the pickle they're in? So they're really very similar. Although a lot of fiction and nonfiction people say, oh, they're totally different. They're not. There is a lot of integration as we go on. So we're going to talk about the platform. There are 3 key components, and then there is the one that comes in. Unfortunately, most people think a platform is the 4th component. I'm going to take you back to the beginning. So let's start. The platform and I'm going to be general. I will be general here, but your platform is the umbrella, all right? We'll think of it that way. And your components, and it's going to have a funneling that comes in. So what goes in that funnel? The first component will be your vision. What do you see happening? How big is it? Who all does it encompass? On Broadway with it? Do you see yourself on Good Morning America or on Today or CNN or Fox? Or how about a spread in People magazine? What is your vision? How big is that? And then over on this side is the big P. That's your passion. What drives you to the party? What brought you to this aha or goosed you to create this book? Now, I will tell you that if I look at 2 big components, and I've written 30 books, and if I look at the 2 modules that they came from, one was from the financial field, and one was from the behavioral side. And you're thinking, financial, behavioral, how did they get together? Well, because of financial. I went through an embezzlement from a partner that took me down another roadway. So if I go back to my old financial background, what brought me there to that vision I had, I knew that I was ahead of the game. I knew I was the pioneer. I mean, this is the early 70s. Very few were out talking to women about money and presenting it in an all-day program. And that's what I did. And what I did is I took that, I did a national study for my master's that encompassed it called What Motivates the Female Investor. And then I turned it into a book called The Woman's Guide to Financial Savvy. And it took me to Good Morning America, a spread in Savvy magazine, multiple printings, huge success in speaking. All right, so that became the vision. I knew it was big, but the passion, what brought me to the party is I was working with women as a stockbroker, and they were clueless of what to do with their money. They totally advocated their responsibility and just blindly trusted anyone, which was usually a man, to take over and take charge. And I'm saying, even if you had a great relationship, you need to be responsible. Because what if that guy in your life dies, is gone, disappears? What if he becomes incapacitated? You have to take responsibility. So I had this passion driven from my profession to educate, right? Now, with that, you have your vision, right? Then you have the passion factor that comes into play. Now, here is the big one, and this is where we lose everybody. And this is commitment. And when we look at commitment, it's critical. Now, commitment comes from 3 arenas. One is time. Do you have the time to work on your book? Some people tell others, oh, you have to get up every morning at 4 o'clock and you have to spend at least 2 or 3 hours. I don't know about you, but that doesn't work for me. In fact, truth be told, I'm a binge writer. I go in intense periods where I'll just write, and push it out. What you have to do is figure out what works for you and then start carving the time to do it. Now, I'm a huge believer, and I literally, we're filming literally in my offices, but I have I have an outer office where I work with clients and meet with them around a huge conference table, and I have my inner office. It's my space. And you only get to come in if you're invited in. Literally, it's like crime scene tape going across. Author at work, do not cross. Book or bust, do not cross. And people know in my life, my husband, my grandkids, my cleaning person, when that door is closed, when those signs are up, we don't penetrate it. You have to make the time. Now, with that time, let me throw in one more caveat, and this is something that's really important to me. It's called the muse. Do you know what your muse is? Do you know what fuels your energy that will create that time? For me, it's water. I'm a water girl. I have to hear it. I need to see it. I have started more books and finished them on the shores of Hawaii, on top of a cruise ship, on my balcony looking out, because it settles me down, it soothes it, it brings it together. So, commitment, time, number 1. Will you make the time? Number 2, how about your energy? You need huge energy as you go forth. Energy. Do you have it? Will you create it? Will you take care of yourself? One of the things I do in an exercise we're going to take you through in a later segment is literally some of the things I do to create the rewards to keep me going, including confession. One book I wrote on M&Ms. Every chapter I finished, I got a bag. So what will create the energy? Is it an exercise program? Is it going for a swim a day? Is it maybe just watching, a sitcom for 30 minutes that will get you laughing and get you going? What it is, know what it is. And then lastly, time, energy. Do you have the money? Now, a lot of people brag about, oh, I published my book for $100. Guaranteed, it looks like it was done for 9 cents. Books are not cheap, because there's a team of people that you need to come in and to create a quality book. There are editors, there are printers, and there are a variety of ways to print. Certainly, some are going to be more expensive than others. There are people who design covers, and you must, and this is one of my, you must have a professional cover designer. I don't care how good you are with art. You may supply some of the art, but someone who really understands graphic design is critical in this process. And then you need this animal called the interior designer. This is when the book opens up. What's it look like? Is it visually attractive? Is it got enough white space? Or is it just loaded with so much text? All you see is words, characters. You don't really see anything else. Today's reader is a different reader than it was 30 years ago. And we have to dramatically change that. When you are committed, when you have the time, you make the time to do the project, when you will fuel your energy and find out what it is that does that, and when you create the money, and the process will vary all over the map. You can create a book, certainly. You could go for under $1,000, and you have minimal editing. I mean, you're just such a sharp writer that you need so little done. You're almost into proofreading. Truth is, most authors need a lot of editing done. And for me personally, at 30 books I've written, I can't tell you how many clients I've worked with. I still have a professional editor come in on top of me. The budget is always going to be over $1,000 with what I do. So you have that. You have the interior designer, depending upon the complexity of your book. Is it a simple book with a lot of text, which would be more along a fiction line? Or is it going to have a lot of what we call call-outs? Will there be indentations? Is there illustrations, artwork, cartoons? Is there photos going in? All of that will add to the price of your book as you go along. So you need to understand that, and you put that into your budget. So then you have your cover design. What's that going to cost? And you can see we're not talking about 100 here and 100 there. These people are putting hours and hours to create the book that you love, so you will never regret it. Time, energy, money. When you bring in vision, when you bring in and let your passion be one of your guideposts to take you, and when you really look at the commitment process that involves time and energy, money, then the fourth comes into play over here, and that is called people. These are your fans. These are people who think you rock. These are the people who love what you write, who are waiting for the next word, the next morsel to come out of your fingers onto a page, or on their e-reader, or on their video book, or listening in their ears on the audiobook. They're waiting for you. But they're not going to come unless they know there's a vision, that they know it's fueled with something that has a driving behind it, and that you are really committed to create that quality product, to deliver that fabulous story that absolutely makes sense. Then they find you, and we're going to show you ways that they can find you with. I'm Judith Briles. I'm your book shepherd. Let's talk on our next session.